Well, you can forget Black Flag for now. I'm sure you've all heard of Black Flag. Well, you can forget Black Flag for now. I can't read my own set list. It's because some asshole read it in Chinese. This one here wants to tear the stage apart. Are you gonna dive off?
And we're back. Clank your chains and count your change. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What's happening on a gloomy Wednesday New York City day? What's up, Ray Hogan? At the airport getting a corpse, but I wanted to say hello. Well, I appreciate that. Tell the corpse I say hi. You know? I won't ask whose corpse it is. I don't know. Could be your date. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something witty to say. What's happening in Arizona, Hoffman? Come on now. Scotland. What's up in London, John? How are you, buddy? Yes, Rob. Rob Moss is coming on the show. We'll talk about that a little bit. What's happening, Rob? You know, here you go. What's up? Larry the Hunter, love RB. Well, I'm sure RB loves you too. I'm sure RB loves you too. Bono, The Edge, you know, the whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? God, I feel like we just did a show like 5 minutes ago. And we're back. That's one of the highest stages. You know what? It's funny you should say that. You know what? It's funny you should say that. Should I bring that back? Or actually, let me bring this guy on. Hey. Did you see how high that stage was?
I did see how high that stage was. That was
you know, this is off the cuff, but hold on, let me find some here in the archive. That was the Peppermint Lounge, right? And it just so happens here are pictures that I took in here's a picture that I took in 1981 of the Bad Brains playing at that stage. And you talk about how high that stage was. Here's a shot I took of the Bad Brains of the Bad Brains on stage. But this shot here, it just so happens, this is an interesting shot. this shot here is from that gig, and you see me. That's me getting pulled off the stage. That's a far fall to the ground.
Yeah, that's like 5,
right?
6 foot.
That's me with the leather jacket going backwards off the stage. Someone's pulling, and that stage was like really high. That's a shot of me getting pulled off the stage at the Peppermint Lounge at a Bab Range show in 1981. You see the guy in the red shirt up top. That's that's Eric from Double O, the band from DC. Yeah, but yeah, that's me on the fucking way down in 1981. Yep.
Yeah, that's a serious stage to fall off of.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still wondering in my head, by the way, if Ray Hogan is bringing that corpse with him to the Amon Amarth carcass cattle decapitation show tomorrow that we're going to at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Nice weather. Nice weather out there, huh?
Today, you know what? This is as I was telling you earlier, this is first Black Sabbath album weather. This is gloomy, dark. There it is. Exactly.
What is this that stands before me?
This is that kind of weather. And I see you're using this gloomy weather to enhance your beard game, which is pretty strong.
Listen, bro, my beard is getting there's a lot of controversy about the beard, but
How far are you taking it?
I'm not going to take it as far as last time, which was the Van Buren, right? This is the Van Buren, right? I'm not going this far with it, but
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's like the Drew Kilmister look almost,
That's the Martin Van Buren, right? That's a look right there, bro. That would take months for me to get that happening again,
Yeah, you look like you belong on like a $50 bill or something.
Actually, that I had the beard, and I was shaving it, and as I was shaving it, I was like, let me cut it into the. I got to do the Van Buren, Yeah.
Yeah, that's
you would know, Larry, right? Yep. The Van Buren, make a comeback, Then I could do, what is that? That's not Civil War reenactment, but that's
it looks sort of like that. It looks
I think Martin Van Buren was before that.
You could do like a Ulysses S. Grant kind of look.
There you go. That's what he just said. It's all about.
Yep.
Tony. Yeah. It's all. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Exactly, President Grant.
Yeah, my girlfriend's not happy. My girlfriend's like, shave it off.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm like, it's me. That said, looks like a 17. Yeah, you know what? I should grow that thing back and get some acting work.
That's it. Do it.
I hear they're doing a sequel to Master and Commander.
Are they really? The Russell Crowe movie?
Yeah, they've been saying that for a while, man.
That was actually supposed to be a series of movies, as I recall.
Yeah, I don't think the first one did,
It was a good movie, though.
I love that movie, bro. I love that movie. How about that? I love that movie, bro.
Well, that was the first thing he did after Gladiator, I think.
I love that movie. I've watched that movie many times. That's like a good chick movie.
Pirates, like Men of the Sea.
Yeah, bro. It's believe it or not. Yep. All right. So, hey, photo of the day. Speaking of,
I was just gonna say.
Speaking of which, there it is. Photo of the day.
He's going, what's with the beard?
Well, you look like Martin Van Buren.
Do we really have to say if anyone doesn't know who that is?
Listen, this guy, I can't believe this guy's still at it, man. Yeah, Ray Hogan says that's my corpse. Bro, I can't believe this guy's still at it. Unbelievable. Here's another one. Does anyone not know who this is?
Exactly. Please get off the channel if you do.
Well, here's kind of the clue, right? Yes, the Prince of Darkness.
Yep, that's him. In fact, you could tell how long ago this was because remember Borders?
Yeah.
There's no Borders is long gone. I loved Borders.
Is that right? Christine McVie died? What?
What?
What? Hold on a second.
Whoa, this just in.
This just in.
Oh, no. Wow. That's heavy.
Wow, she died at 79. Christine McVie.
Oh my God,
Wow.
she's my mom's age.
Songbird. Wow.
Wow.
Yes. Rest in peace, Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac. You can go your own way. Go.
Wow. That's heavy.
What did Christine McVie sing in Fleetwood Mac?
What was that? Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Yeah, Stevie was always the dominating female.
Oh, hey, hold your tongue! How dare you? I gotta look it up.
The band that fired Lindsey Buckingham after like 47 years in the band.
All right, she sang top 10 Christine McVie songs. Love in Store, Songbird from Rumors, Think About Me from Tusk, Little Eyes from Tango in the Night, Over My Head from Fleetwood Mac, Hold Me, that's a good one. Come on and hold me, hold me.
That was a big MTV one. Yeah, I remember that.
Hold me. Wow. Yeah, man. Rest in peace, Christine McVie, man.
And yet Ozzy lives on.
Listen, Over My Head, Hold Me, Say You Love Me, because you say, oh, you make loving fun everywhere. Oh, come on. You know what she sang? Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
That was a big one.
Don't stop. It'll soon be here. It'll be here better than before. Yesterday's gone. Ooh, don't you look fine? Damn, man.
Wow.
Damn. Yo, this show's dedicated to Christine McVie, man. She brought a lot of people a lot of joy.
Did you ever see Fleetwood Mac?
I saw Fleetwood Mac a couple times.
Back in the old days, or?
No. I think that if I remember correctly, the first time I saw Fleetwood Mac was when like Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks split like the first time. And they had like that dude like Rick Vito and Billy Burnett. I saw them. They're all right.
Because now they have the guitars.
No, you know who I have seen play?
Them, so.
I've seen Peter Green play. I saw Peter Green play.
Well, that's classic early Fleetwood Mac. You know, that's Green Manalishi Fleetwood Mac.
Listen, all this is fine and dandy, but what would this guy think?
You know what's funny about this? This is 2010, right when the book came out. In fact, I went to this with our friend JoJo, who you know, and she came along to this, and he was awesome, and we actually got to I'd say meet him, but we were kind of like, I was shooting it, but I got a book signed, so they sort of assembly lined you along, say hello, and he signed your book, and but it was pretty awesome. I mean, Black Sabbath is hugely important to me. That is the first album I ever got in second grade from my big brother Michael. And, in fact, he almost didn't survive the pandemic. And now he's back with a new album that has Eric Clapton on it and Jeff Beck. And he's got all these all-star guitar players on the record. It's actually pretty good. I
wonder what he's thinking. Okay, let's have some fun. Caption this? What is Ozzy thinking in this picture? Is it he's talking to himself that he misses cocaine? Let's try to be funny, all right? Funny captions, anybody. What's Ozzy thinking here?
I wish Sharon would bring me a juice box.
I got a quick Ozzy story, though. In like 96, when they did those Black Sabbath reunion shows, I don't know.
I was at that.
Biohazard played one or something. And
Pantera did. They opened up.
And Fear Factory was on it too. It might not have been Black Sabbath. It might have been an Ozfest or something. But he did this warm-up routine where he would like go on the bike backstage and he'd warm himself up and then they set him loose on the stage,
Yep.
And like he warmed up on the bike, and then there was some technical problems with the band. I think it was Fear Factory who was playing before him, and he like got out there ready to go, and they stopped him, and like he almost had a nervous breakdown, bro.
Oh my
He
God.
like he started crying, and it was like, damn, bro. He like he had like a schedule, and like, you know.
Well, he's not the most stable individual at the time,
There
but
you go. Debo to Pro wins with this one. Where are the ants to sniff? Good one. Good. I wonder what's for breakfast. Where am I? Shit, is that the cop from the Alamo? Good one.
poor Ozzy.
Yep. Fucking Sharon, stop making me perform. Where can I score?
She's gonna drag him out until like they might just have him stuffed and still have Ozfests, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still there, you know.
All right. Well, there you go.
I saw. Did you see Ozzy when Metallica opened for them back in '86?
No, I saw Ozzy play the Garden in '81 or '82 with Motley Crue. With
Motley Crue and Wasted. Yep.
Motley Crue opening. I saw that, and I
saw the Moon.
I saw Ozzy play the US Festival in '82. That was after Randy Rhoads passed. That was with
Bernie Torme.
Could have been Bernie Torme.
I think
who
it was
didn't
Bernie
last
Torme.
long. Who didn't last long? It was replaced by dude from Damn Yankees, right?
No, by Brad Gillis from Night Ranger.
That's right.
Who did the Speak of the Devil album?
Yo, Brad Gillis was ripping it with Ozzy, man.
Oh, I love that live album.
Yeah,
that's that was when Ozzy and Sabbath were still at odds. They both put live albums with the same songs out at the
Speak
same
of the
time.
Devil and all that, yeah.
And Live Evil.
All right. Hey, let's bring our guest on. Hey, enough of this talk about beards and Ozzy. All right, I'll talk to you later, bro. All right. Well, there you have it. This is the one, the only New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, and DTFM Vinyl Distro. Looking for extreme music? DTFM Vinyl has got you. Located on 13th Ave in Fargo, North Dakota. We have the state's best selection of punk, hardcore, metal, ska, oi, and more. Can't make it in? Shop online from anywhere in the country at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com. DTFM Vinyl, where the policy still is and always will be death to false metal. Come on now, 126 Hardcore Clothing. It's a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. That said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring on our guest. Here we go. Yo, everybody all right in the chat room? Yeah, North Dakota, man. Come on now. Jakey Lee. No, I do not think Jakey Lee played the US Fest, dude. I beg to differ. Lenny. Might have to look that up. I don't think so. That said, today's guest is an American musician hailing from the Empire State of New York. She is known for her work with the bands King Missile, Chop Shop, Missing Foundation, Bubba Zanetti, Helvis, the Wharton Tears Ensemble, Sloth, Carvel's NYC, Silk Cut, Even Worse, and currently Highly Effective People and the Bush Tetras. Please welcome, coming at us from New York City, R.B. Korbet.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I'll always remember where I was when I heard about Christine McVie dying. I was with you. It's like when JFK was killed. I'll always remember where I was, and I was with you. You know, I wasn't a huge Fleetwood Mac fan, but I love "Oh Daddy" off of Rumors, and that's a Christine McVie song. It's a beautiful. Oh. Hey Ray, it's a beautiful piano number that she does, and her voice is just this beautiful alto that she has. It's haunting. It's really good. Maybe that's who Ray's picking up. I don't know. You know, he's got his fingers on the pulse, man. He could have been there like Ouija with his police radio.
He's like, Did you hear Christy McVie's dead? I'm going.
Yeah, he's in the car.
She died on the plane coming over.
And he's there.
Yeah, fuck. You know, listen. Some guys have all the luck, Ray.
And I think that's a Rod Stewart song. So
some guys have all the pain.
Yeah. And I don't love you too. Thank you very much. I love Larry. I don't love you too.
I fucking hate that band, man.
Thiege. We used to call him not The Edge, but Thiege. Just smush it together.
You know, like I remember when that shit, it was just shoved down. Like I feel like it was like Clockwork Orange. It was like just shoved down my throat. Like ugh. I liked the first album, but I liked the first album because it came out when I was just kind of getting into a lot of different music, especially like European stuff. And it had some cool tunes on it, you know, but then they just became really lame really fast. Gloria.
I can't even. And I mean, the message behind the songs is great. You know, A Sunday, Bloody Sunday, I'm there for it. You know, I studied Northern Ireland politics for years, and I'm like, yeah, I'm there for it. But just,
Everyone's chiming in. I hate you too. They suck. You know what? I think we're going to add them to the list of artists who get no slack on the show. It's like Phil Collins, Styx, Billy Joel, U2.
I'm there, man. You want to tick a box? Yeah, I'm with you on that. Sorry. I know there's people that like them and they make people happy, but just not this people.
How many Bonos does it take to change a light bulb? How many?
How many, Ray?
Yeah, how many?
How can you type when you're carrying a coffin? He's very talented.
Maybe it's strapped to his back.
It's speech to text.
That said, one, as long as the world revolves around it. Good. Very good. Very good. Hey, nice. How did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life, my friend?
I grew up with my grandparents. I was left with them by my parents very kindly, and there was a piano in the house. So I tinkered around on the piano. That was my first instrument. I was going to send you a picture of me sitting at the piano, and I was 5, but I was like, that's kind of twee, but maybe I'll stick it on my page. I don't know. And I took lessons for a while, and then as soon as I stopped practicing, the lessons stopped, but I still would play the piano and goof around on it and make noise and whatever. So I guess, until I was about 9, 10, 11, that was my thing, just playing the piano and just kind of figuring stuff out for myself. Then I got into the choir, and I was into sight reading music, and I got into a cappella choir in high school, and I just... So
you learned how to read music at a young age?
Yeah, I learned how to read music, but then I forgot it all by the time I got out of high school. I look at sheet music now and I'm like, what is that?
Really?
Yeah, but I was a choir singer for a long time. I was in an a cappella choir in suburban Detroit, and we used to tour around. We used to go to old age homes and do like winter fests and junk like that. And I was a soprano, and I was a lead soprano, and I was really loving it. It was great. My first like big collab, and I really dug it a lot.
Did you grow up in New York City or in Detroit?
Well, I grew up in New York until I was 9, and my parents had a boutique uptown, and they kept getting robbed at gunpoint. So they said, let's get out of here. We went to Detroit, like that's any better. But it was suburban Detroit, about 4 miles north. There we are. That's me on Woodward. No, Woodward near 11 Mile. No, Kingston and 11 Mile Road. That's where that is. And that's me on the lower left-hand corner there, hopeless. Look at this nerdy bullshit going on. And I recently found out that kid 2 above me, Jeff Koski, he died. So rest in peace, Jeff.
Oof.
I don't remember the names of any of these other kids though. Cindy, that one in the top in the middle, she was kind of a goody. And the dude below her, Jerry Takis, he was a really funny Greek kid. I don't know. Look at that kid on the right. Everyone looks like a stoner, right? Except for Cindy. They all look like stoners.
The kid in the middle on the right, it looks like, a little demented. Yeah. But the kid up top on the right, he looks like he's I bet he's led a fun life, that kid.
He looks like he was like the head of the football team for a while, and then he started his own business, and he was like the guy that like get all the dudes coked up at the Christmas party and Yeah, he had a good life. It looks like he's been having a good time.
He's just waiting to get into puberty so he can like, you know, do shitty coke and like chase cheerleaders around.
Dude, that's very that sounds pretty familiar. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's where he wound up.
So New York was a little sketchy, moved to Detroit, grew up in Detroit for the most part. And at what point did you come back to New York?
I was about to turn 18 and my grandparents were selling the house, going their separate ways. And my options were stay in Detroit, sell pot out of my boyfriend's basement, or go to New York and really get into punk rock, which I was just starting to get into. And I was like, big choice. So I broke up with my pot dealer boyfriend and came to New York.
What music early on, like at this stage of the game, spoke to you? Yeah.
Well, really, it was always the Beatles. Beatles were my thing since I was, a toddler. And then I got into kind of things like Elton John, and I really dug Alice Cooper, and anything that was weird and out there and had an edge to it. I really got into Sparks. They're still one of my favorite bands of all time. And then I was hanging out with a bunch of stoners in high school, and it was all, Thin Lizzy and Led Zeppelin, and I was getting really bored. And then I met the New Wave kids. And they were into like
was this in Detroit? You met the New Wave?
This is in Detroit. Yeah, this is in Detroit. Because I was a little kid in New York. When I was in New York, it was great. I loved being a city kid. Out there, it sucked. I hated the suburbs. I was bullied mercilessly. It was really fucking ugly because I was an outsider. I didn't fit in at all, and I was smart. No one liked that. No one was feeling that vibe. And I fell in with these New Wave kids and started wearing pointy shoes and dancing around to, Joe Jackson and the B-52s. And then...
Is that New Wave music?
Well, there was at the time, 79, 78.
I mean, I remember them telling me, I remember them saying that like Tom Petty was New Wave. And like...
Yes, these stoner kids. We were in the car driving around smoking dust or whatever we did. And Pat Benatar, Heartbreaker. Sparks are the greatest band on earth, Lenny. I'm sorry. They changed my life. They made me feel like that and the Monkees movie Head were like, music can do anything. You can do anything. Bowie too, man. I was way into Bowie. So in any event, Pat Benatar, Heartbreaker came on, and I'm like, yeah, this is a cool tune. I'm like, nah. And this dude goes, what is this? That new wave? And I'm like, what? This is rock, man. Like Barracuda would come on and they're like, what is this new wave? And I'm like, y'all are crazy, man.
Anything like, and I can relate because in the crowd I was hanging out with, as a very young adolescent, it was like anything that deviated from like Led Zeppelin, Bad Company, Leonard Skinner was just like, what is
anything
this?
with an edge, anything if it had any kind of edge or there was any kind of curveball in there, they were like, what the fuck is this? And I started wearing, kind of new wavy clothes and this and that. And, the stoners were kind of over it. And by that point, I kind of dropped out of high school anyway, so it didn't matter.
Big props to Joe Jackson. We love that guy. We love that artist. He did just look sharp. I'm the man. Right in the middle of the whole thing, I remember Joe Jackson did like a big band album.
Yeah, he did called Beat Crazy. No, that wasn't Beat Crazy. It was after that. One of my first concerts.
That like for me as a very young person, like when he put that record out, it was really I learned a lot. Like when an artist that I like did that, and I loved that record. That
I like that he
big
took
band stuff.
He just followed his heart. He did what he wanted. One of the very first shows I ever saw was Joe Jackson and the Ramones.
Ooh,
at the Masonic Auditorium in Detroit. Yeah, what a bill.
Yeah,
what a bill though. Those two bands together, and Graham Maybe blew my mind on bass. I was like, wow, this is the shit.
So you come back to New York. And you fall in with the punk rock kids?
I fall in with the St. Mark's kids, and I'm down there on St. Mark's. And
how does that connection? How does that? Here's a great photo, and thank you for sending me so many great photos. And
oh my God,
how do you just sort of like I'm seeking out these kids? Like, how did you fall in with this crowd?
Well, when I had visited with my boyfriend, who happened to be Marshall Crenshaw's youngest brother, so he had a New York connection. We visited once when we were going out, and he was like, "Oh, we got to go to the East Village. They got all the punk stores." We went to St. Mark's and we went to Trash and this and that. So after I moved back, I just instinctively started going there. And these were the kids on the street. You know, back then you would walk up to someone who looked like you. Hey, man, what are your badges? You know, you would check out people's badges, what was written on your shirt, what was written on your jacket. What's going on? And you would just sit down. You would just plunk down on a stoop, whatever. You got money for beer? What's up? Got a cigarette? And you would just bond. And that's how I made all my friends. Just
and I see Harley, right?
Yep, that picture. Okay, there's Harley.
Is that Jack behind you up top?
No, that's Bobby Steele from the Misfits. That's when he just started the Undead.
Ooh.
The Undead were just getting going, and that's Margaret on the left. You know the song "Sacred Love"?
Yeah, sure.
Sacred Love. That was HR's boo at the time, and that's who he was singing to. Was Margaret?
Wow,
that's her, man. She was a really good friend of mine.
That's
got
Bobby.
Other pictures too.
Wow,
that's Bobby.
I didn't recognize Bobby. Wow, that's awesome.
That's Bobby. And down below, okay, so we got from the top left, we got Geneva, Contra. Me, I'm behind Jerry Williams, who hadn't been here long, and his hair is still short. He was still from Florida. He was in the cigarettes.
Wait.
The bottom photo on the left?
You're next to Harley, aren't you?
No, that's Arabella.
Oh, and that's Jerry in the striped shirt?
That's Jerry Williams.
What?
I'm telling you, man, he was a really good friend of mine. He gave me like my first
guitar
lesson.
Is this when he was in the cigarettes?
Yeah, cigarettes.
Yeah.
And he talked like this. He just got here from Florida because he was.
John in London says that's some info on Sacred Love. It is, right? Who knew?
I'm spilling the tea, man.
Sacred Love. What's up, Spike Polite? Hope you're well,
baby.
Hey, baby. Don't you turn her
me like a hole. That's a great tune. God, I love that song.
I guess the background on that is he called that in from when he was locked up. They needed This is a great shot. I've seen this around, and this is great. This speaks volumes. This is trash and vaudeville, right? This is trash and vaudeville.
It is. And
I recognize. Well, I see you sit next to James Contra at the top of the stairs, and I see the infamous Lazar.
Lazar, that's right.
And on the right. I don't know who that handsome young lad is.
That's Richie Scafino. That's Gigo's brother. And Gigo,
wow, no kidding.
And everybody. Yeah, that's Richie. Yeah. He looks exactly the same. Richie looks exactly the same. And that's Uncle Al from Murphy's Law on the left, man, standing there going, "Hey, what's up?" That's him.
Wow.
That's Uncle Al.
Wow.
And that chick Elaine, I've been looking for that Elaine chick for a long time. She was really cool. I don't know what happened to her. But yeah, Lazar and I were really good friends. She was like my gal pal. We used to go everywhere together, and she was always getting into fights and picking arguments. And she was a lot, man, but she was my friend, and she was good to me. We had a lot of fun together.
It's funny. This is the second show in a row that Lazar's name has come up.
She's a legend.
Yeah. A story.
Samo on the door.
Tag on the door. Yeah, right on.
Paul. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Lenny says. Gotta love the style back then. Everyone has their pants rolled up waiting for the flood.
Yeah, I used to wear these boots, and I would put like these bandanas and skunk tails and pieces of leopard fur and stuff. And I was walking down St. Mark's once, and there were these Native American guys that used to kind of hang around and talk to people and lay on the ground and whatever. And I was walking by one day, and this guy got up and he got really insulted that I had a skunk tail on my boot because apparently it had some meaning to him. Why are you wearing that? And I got really shit. And then I was like, this guy's gonna pound me. And then Mojo comes up, who's like 7 feet tall, dark as night, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And this giant Indian guy just fucking legged it. It was really funny.
Wow, that's great. So at some point here, music. Did you say, "Hey, I want in. I want put me in the game, coach. I want in." Like how did even worse? How did this come about? Now, I know we're skipping a little bit, but here's
this is about the time. Because I was a shampoo girl at Hair Space on St. Mark's, and I used to hang out on the stoop all the time. And Harley used to wash the windows, and Sid would throw him $5 or $10, whatever. And Jack walked up to me. I was sitting on the stoop smoking a cigarette. I still smoked, and I had all these badges on my jacket. And he's like, "Hey, what badges you got?" And I was like, Buzzcocks and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we started comparing badges and talking about music. And he said to me, "Hey, I've got a band. You want to sing in my band?" Just like that, just because he dug the way I looked. And I had, I had references,
Yeah. Yes, you had the proper buttons in the proper location on your jacket.
Basically, it was signaling, and this is right after I think John Berry left the band. There was Johnny Potatoes, John Paredes, someone else. Nick had left the band to go do Stimulators, and I think John Berry they just did that one show at Tompkins Square or something, and he disappeared, and they needed a singer, and he asked me to sing, and I was like, "Oh, you want to come audition?" He was like, "No." He just liked my attitude, so I just started going to rehearsals with them, and that was it.
The first flyer I have is from July 30th, 1981.
Let's see. And
this is from Max's Kansas City. Even worse at Max's.
This is one of the nights that's on the New York Thrash, not New York Thrash, on You've Ruined Everything. This was the first flyer I did, and I was trying to do it in the style of flyers that Nick Martin had been doing. And so this is all my writing. And you can see at the bottom, there's this little signature war going on. I signed it. Then Jack puts his name, and then he puts a little scribble at the left. So, I mean, you could see the tensions forming. You could see that this band was going to implode spectacularly. It was coming down Broadway with bells on. It was not going to last. We were just like that.
Wow.
It was tough.
Any memories of playing Max's? Because you played there a couple times, right?
My grandmother came to that show.
Oh, I know the story. Please tell.
My grandmother's awesome. My grandmother and I both played that high stage at Peppermint Lounge too. She was a piano player, and she played in swing bands with I think she was one of Benny Goodman's backup piano players or something.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we both played that place. So she was chuffed, and she didn't care that it was punk rock. I went to see my grandma for the first time since I became a punk rocker, and I thought I was just badass, and she pinched the fuck out of my cheeks. "Oh, you're so cute." I was like, "Grandma." So she came to the show. And that was that night I called Mojo a pussy from the stage and all this stuff. And I was being really, really blue. And she came up afterwards, and she was giving me hugs and everything in front of all my friends. And she didn't care. She was one of the only adults in my life that supported my creativity. She was really awesome. Really cool. Yeah, Max's was cool. Peter Crowley was booking those hardcore shows, and there was a lot of them. They were really fun. It was a great thing that he did to keep the club going and get the music scene going. We practically lived at 171. We rehearsed at 171. Bad Brains were living there. First, Earl was living in our kitchen for a little while. Then they all moved into 171. We would rehearse on their gear. Sometimes we had to borrow their stuff for gigs. Jack would borrow their stuff. We'd borrow some of Harley's drums, I think, sometimes, which figures into the night we broke up at Irving Plaza. But yeah, we were there all the time, playing soccer, jamming, smoking weed.
Who were your peers early on, and who when Even Worse was sort of doing the Maxes, the rounds? I mean, was hardcore even a word then? It wasn't, right? Not yet.
Not yet.
So who were your peers? And I'm gonna take a shot at it. Heart Attack.
Mm-hmm. Little Jesse was 14.
Yep. Stimulators.
Ish. I mean, the funny thing is, it was thrash at the time. It wasn't even a hardcore yet. It was thrash because it was kind of raw, kind of helter skelter. Everything was kind of
called it thrash. Very different than what people call thrash now. We called before hardcore came into being. That's and I guess just by chance I decided to mix it up. But the first time the word hardcore kind of really came into my lexicon was when DOA put this record out in 1981. Right. They kind of tagged it as hardcore. Before then, I remember we called it thrash because
it was thrash.
Because people would thrash around.
People would thrash. We didn't really we'd circle dance, but it was kind of anarchic and fun and free and whatever. And so we just wanted to play really fast. Fast,
Yeah.
fast, fast. It wasn't even about the power. It was about fast, like the Speedies, the Dickies. We wanted to play real fast, like the English bands, really fast, So
Right.
that's what that was all all
Who else? What other peers?
Oh boy, let's see. We had Heart Attack, Undead, Reagan Youth.
Right.
Crikey, let me think. Savage Circle. That was Biss, who went on to Drunk Driving. Then blah blah blah. Let me think. Who else did we? Oh, Kraut. Hello.
Oh yeah, sure.
We played with Kraut a ton.
Yeah.
We played with Kraut a lot.
Mm.
Undead were just getting going.
Mm.
We had CFA.
I didn't see the Undead
Yeah.
in that era, but I was told numerous times that for a minute there they really ruled the roost. When they first started up the Undead, I heard they were really great live. They were really great
They
band.
were tight, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Patrick Blank was an amazing drummer. Nats, who went on to Cop Shoot Cop, Black Snakes, whatever. Yeah, they were tight as fuck, and they were fast. And it was the way Bobby played guitar. It was all downstrokes, Yeah, that was wild. Oh, this is one of Eric's flyers. This is a good one.
Well, I like this. Back from the tour in New Jersey.
That sense of humor, that's
it was a big deal back then to play outside of Lower East Side.
And when I played Jersey, I couldn't drink. They would keep me sat at the bar. I didn't have ID, and I couldn't drink. I couldn't go backstage. They had an eye on me whenever we would play Jersey. It was really kind of oppressive. It's like, okay, get on stage,
And this is the Playroom on 6th Avenue and 9th. Didn't this used to be Trudy Heller's?
It was Trudy Heller's. Now it's a bagel deli.
Yeah, now it's like it's like Lenny's sandwich shop or some shit.
Yeah, it's it's a bagel place. I recently recorded at Renegade, and it's a bagel shop. But that one poster, that blue Playroom poster with the faces, that was the Beastie Boys' first show, but they weren't billed. They just got up and played.
This
blue one on the top
left.
left.
The Playroom. Yeah, another one at the.
Yeah, that's one of my early flyers. Yeah, they weren't even billed. They just came and played. And that's a picture from the show at the bottom.
And that's from I remember the Bad Brains played there too when it was Trudy Heller's. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. Oh, yeah, and the Peppermint Lounge stuff on the right. It's the same place where it looks like that shot that you took of the Bad Brains from the balcony. And look at this bored ass hippie on the right. He's like, whatever. But yeah, it's like the same. It's like that's a Barry Cooper Smith photo with like beans or something. I don't know what's going on. But it's like almost the same spot you were. That's really funny.
Yeah, for sure. So Even Worse gets going. And just while we're here, we don't have to I just want to. Even Worse gets going. You're playing shows like this one here. This is a cool one. At another one at Max's, Heart Attack, Even Worse, Kraut, Reagan Youth.
That was fun. That was for Damaged Goods. That was Lyle Heisen's little fancy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's another flyer that I did with Brooke Shields' head on a turkey.
Yeah, right. I have that somewhere. And then this might even be what we were looking at to start the show, right? Even Worse, Heart Attack at the Pep.
Yeah. That's an Eric flyer with Zippy the Pinhead on it and Bobby's face. Yeah.
Yep. And then we kind of get to, wow, look at this, man. This is a good one too. These are, I love these old flyers. I love them so much. I did a book with with all of them.
I got to get a copy of that. There's one in Organic Grill, and I got to get a copy. I think this dude Donnell did this poster. He used to hang around a lot.
Cool flyer.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. We played with the Bad Brains a bunch of times, but I don't have all the accoutrement anymore. I don't have any of the flyers.
Yeah. And all this is kind of leading up to this is 80. Yeah, let's talk about this a little bit, because this is a kind of a high profile moment, right?
Oh, this was it, man. This was a night that shall live in infamy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, wait. Is this the one? No, it's a different one.
No, this is
show. This was just a high profile. This was a big
right.
deal,
This is the Thrash, the Thrash cassette release thing.
Yeah, and that's a poster that I think Jack and one of the guys from Kraut might have made.
Right.
Was it little Jack's handwriting all over it?
Any perspective on the New York Thrash cassette?
It was an interesting collection of bands, and Nick Cooper's dad put it together.
Yep.
And the funny thing about New York Thrash is, you know, Jack and I are really good friends now. He's one of my best friends. He lives down the street. And at the time, it was Jack's band. You know, there'd been so many personnel changes and this and that. He signed with Roar and just gave them the fucking masters. We didn't even know it was coming out. He was like, oh, by the way, we're going to be on this thing. And I'm like, and so it's funny because the clip you showed in the beginning has got the version of the lyrics for Emptying the Madhouse that's on New York Thrash, which was not the approved version. It was the bullshit version that was a joke when we were sitting around talking about how bad that New Romantic music was. And, oh, it's all love songs. So I made a fake like New Romantic lyric. And when we were on stage at Peppermint Lounge that night, I was so nervous. The stage was so high and I was like, all these people, I was really intimidated. I forgot the actual lyrics and started singing the bullshit lyrics. And so those are the ones everybody knows, man. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah, we ended up on the Roar comp because Jack talked to Nick Cooper and Nick said, my dad's putting this thing together or something. Right. And the rest is history. So we didn't even approve that. And it just came out. And we were like,
and
okay,
for those that may not know, Nick Cooper was a kid that hung around in the scene. He managed like the Beastie Boys for a minute. He hung around with Antidote. And his dad ran the label, the Roar cassette label, which was cassette only releases. And of course, they put out the Bad Brains cassette, which was legendary.
Which was a cool move. Cool move.
Yeah.
Yes, people used to do, it was such a creative time because, you know, you could put posters up all over New York City. So there were multiple flyers for the same event a lot of the time, which was really fun.
Yeah. Well, that was back then. Everybody, you know, it was sort of a given. Like if you're on a bill, every band has to make their own flyer.
Right. And even in the same band, we would do 3. Eric would do one. I would do one. We were just like, yeah, you know, we got to publicize the show and do another flyer. Yeah.
These are, it's nice when a band, at least, you know, these are good shots, man. This is Laura Lavigne's shots, right?
Laura Lavigne. Oh, yeah.
You remember anything about these? Because these shots have, you know, the nice quality shots. You don't usually.
She was a professional, you know, she was really amazing. She shot a ton of really influential people. And so I wasn't really phased or knowledgeable about any of this stuff at the time. It was like, oh, Laura Lavigne's going to photograph us. I'm like, okay, whatever. And we were in Eldridge Street, this roach-infested apartment we were all living in, basically. And it was a hot, hot night, man. It had to be 100 degrees. And we were just sweating. And it's like, oh, let's take these pictures. And I'm wearing this long sleeve shirt. And I love this photo a lot. This is really the spirit of the band. We were all really sweet. And we just wanted to have a good time and have a laugh. And Jack's bedroom walls were legendary, too. That's a issue of Mouth of the Rat behind him. Dave Rat's, you know, Dave Ratcage's fanzine that he ran. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what
cool.
that is. Yeah. And she took that picture of me. I love my job. That thing. Right. She took that photo of me sitting in the window. That was a Bad Brains joke. Do you know the story about this thing? I love my job. They had that song, I Love I Ja. It was like the reggae break, you know?
Right.
And I bless her soul, I heard she passed away, but Earl's girlfriend used to stand at the side of the stage going, I love my jaw. I love my jaw. So I pulled this off the subway because it was a recruiting poster for the Army. And that became I Love My Job. And that was a Bad Brains, so inside Bad Brains joke. And this is the night, that's us playing Irving Plaza. I guess they were doing renovations or something. It looks like a fucking woodshed. And on the right, that's the poster that Jack made to celebrate him and Tim Summers' birthday. We didn't get on with Jack. We didn't like Tim. Jack loaned Tim Eric's bass one day to go jam or something. And we came home and the bass wasn't there. And we just wanted to kill them both, you know? So Jack goes and makes this, we're celebrating this birthday thing. And we're like, that's it. So we finished the set. And on stage, I go, this is the last time Even Worse will play live. We're over, blah, blah, blah. And I put the mic down, like literal, like mic drop. And Jack's like, what? And we're all like, yeah, we run off the stage. Harley runs out and he goes, yeah, motherfucker. And he starts taking the drums out from under Jack. I guess like it was his snare or his hardware or something. It was ugly. It was ugly.
And that was the end of the band, right? Oh, the band.
until it was resurrected once again.
Right.
Until Jack resurrected it a third time with Kenny and Thurston Moore on guitar.
After you left?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Timmy Summers, Kenny, who passed away, and Thurston Moore.
Wow.
Thurston even wrote one of the songs on the 7-inch they did.
You know, it's definitely like the sort of, you know, trauma and drama that's worth breaking a band up over. You put your name on the flyer because it's your birthday. Fuck you, we're quitting.
That's what it was. We were 19. We were
That was
mad as hell and we weren't going to take it anymore. You know, we had nothing.
Stab me in the back.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. It was just you know, hormones gone wild, and you know, we were always looking for things to fight about and get upset about. And this week it was flyers and the fact that he gave Eric's bass to somebody. Just here, take it. And we came home, and that was back when, you know, your apartment got robbed all the time. So we come home and the bass is missing. So we naturally assume someone stole the bass. So that was kind of.
I know how that goes, man. I got
Yeah.
That's true. You know,
but after we broke up,
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say after that. What were you going to say?
I got my apartment robbed a couple of times.
Van Buren.
I got my apartment robbed a couple of times. It's a bummer, you know.
Yep, it's no fun. So, but yeah, we formed the Infested after that. It was me and Eric and Bobby. We used to jam with different members of the Beastie Boys. We'd play with John Berry sometimes. We'd play with Mike D. We would just go to Charles Lane and do whatever. And we formed a little thing with Kate Schellenbach on drums, and it was the Infested. We did one show at A7A Annex, and it was terrible. Right? Yeah, it was really bad.
Who was it? You, Mike D, John Berry, and Kate?
No, it was Kate Schellenbach, me, and Eric and Bobby from Even Worse. For this permutation of whatever the Beastie Boys Even Worse overlap that there was. And Steve Jones was there, and he was at the bar like this, like he was not into it, man. It was bad. We were like into the Sushi and the Banshees and all this stuff, and he just wasn't into it.
Yeah.
Wasn't loving it. Wasn't feeling it.
Makes sense. I know this is so time marches on. And, you know, this is funny because this is one of our band names, Hit by a Truck.
You got a tune named Hit by a Truck?
No, we have a list on this show of like band names, of like potential band names. I should dig it out.
This was a band.
This was a
thing, man. This was an actual band. They played on that.
I'm going to try to find it as you're speaking.
Yeah, before I joined them, they did that speed trials thing that a lot of people were on. The Beastie Boys and different people were on it. They were on it, and that's on the left. Alexa was Rolly Mosselman's wife, Rolly from the Swans. And it's Jane in the middle, and and that flyer on the bottom right is weird. Did you know Fran Powers? He died a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He was in Modern Clicks. He was in, you know, After Midnight. He was the guy getting his hair cut. That was his band. Clicks, Virus, Children in Adult Jails. That was Lori S. That was her band.
I'm looking.
And this was, this was right after Chop Shop. I started playing guitar and Hit by a Truck.
Do I have it?
So you didn't know that was an actual band? You're supposed to Google that stuff, man.
I know. No, I don't see it. I can't seem to find it. Bummer. We had this like ongoing list on this show. There's like a couple of good ones, like, and that was like something we were like, that's a great name for a band, Hit by a Truck, you know. So
been done.
Yeah, been done.
Scratch it off. Done.
Been there, been done.
Been there, done that.
I guess at this point, you're kind of pretty proficient going from one scenario to another, but you land in Missing Foundation at a certain point?
Oh, yeah. After Hit by a Truck, or during, I don't know. Hit by a Truck broke up at 8 BC at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think a couple of days later I was hanging around the park, and Donna said to me, we're going to go do this thing in the park with Pete and, you know, the cops and everything. I'm like, okay, great. So I come and I meet Pete. And he's like, you're a guitar player? And I said, yeah. And he said, I need a guitar player. And that was it. And I started playing guitar with Missing Foundation. And I did all these posters. And that's a picture of us at CB's up there. It's a double exposure. You can kind of tell what's going on, but kind of not. I'm in there somewhere. and that's Vince on the bass on the left and Pete in the middle. And that was the first time we played CBGBs, and that was when that dude, you see his arms there, that was Gizmo from Rivington School, and he bought all this chicken wire. I don't know how he got it in the club. He started cooping people up in chicken wire, and it was like this crazy pagan thing. Everyone was dancing around these people cooped up in chicken wire. And
was Missing Foundation as crazy as it were the shows super wild, or was that
they were super wild? Yeah, the backstage got destroyed. I don't know. There was that big hood in the backstage. Those rooms behind.
Yeah, sure.
One of them got like pulled off the wall. I don't even know how that happened, but one like came off the wall.
Because CBGBs used to serve chili.
I don't think there was any chili that night.
No, but back in the day, that's why those things were there. They used to cook chili. CBGB served chili back in the day.
Damn. Well, I never had any of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shows were wild. People would get into fights. People would get hurt. I forget which show it was. I was wrestling and fighting, and in the morning I had to go to the hospital because I was bleeding somewhere. And I was like, okay, this is, it was a lot, It was really rowdy.
Yeah.
That Danceteria show, somebody threw a toilet off the stage and it shattered. It could have killed somebody.
Threw a toilet? Where did they get a toilet?
I don't know. A fucking toilet materialized. There was a toilet on the stage.
Did somebody come into the club with a toilet?
Do you know what it was? It was probably hanging out backstage, like in the wings somewhere, like, one of the work crew left this. Oh, we were replacing the toilets, and somebody, wow, that's really funny, and like drag it on stage. And it was probably incorporated into the set because people used to come up and play all this wild percussion. They'd play on gas cans or whatever they could. Yeah. We had a video of this guy, Bill, beating on this gas can with these pieces of rebar. And at one point he goes, boing, whack, and a piece of rebar hit him in the head. And he's like doing this. Someone's got film of that. I wish I had that.
Wow.
But yeah, somebody could have been killed by a toilet that night at Danceteria.
Killed by toilet. Call Ray Hogan. The body needs to be picked up.
He'll be there.
Yeah. As we sort of go on the tour, what's going on here?
Let's see. Oh, this is the King Missile era. I did in that last thing. There was a spoken word thing. I used to do a lot of spoken word. I used to do this like kind of weird prose performance art kind of stuff. And that's ABC No Rio. That's one of Matthew Courtney's nights that he used to host. Latch got his start there.
Is that downstairs at ABC No Rio?
It was upstairs. You kind of went up the little flight of stairs.
I'm just wondering what the ladder is in the middle of the.
I think that's a fire exit, or that's how you get up to the storage space. Right. I don't know. It was decoration. I don't know why it's there. But that's me and John at Jan Bonfiglio's house on the right. And then that's us reunited in 2018, I think, playing bass instead of drums with King Missile.
How was that?
Fun. Cool. It was great. I really, really liked working with those guys a lot.
Nice.
And then, John and I have remained really good friends, and that's why we went and did Silk Cut after I left King Missile.
Right.
For the second time.
I love this. I love I love this. Where's my dude right here? Hold on. I got to find. Where's my here? This band.
Let's see.
I know we're kind of skipping around.
Yeah, that's all right.
But
it's weird because I'm kind of going from guitar, bass, drums, guitar, bass, drums. I played guitar in King
Bubba Zanetti
in Missing Foundation. This is guitar. And that's me in the Vital Van's house up there. And I think it's Tish and Snooki on the wall. But that's where Chicken John, Big Jim, all those guys, Lech Patrol guys, Harris lived there. Oof. And I think it was Jim's birthday, and that's why I'm holding a knife. I just cut a cake. And Bubba Zanetti was heavy. That's when I was really getting into like speed metal and grunge. I was really into like Melvins and also like death metal. And there he is. There he is.
Yeah.
What is it? He goes, "You got no class, do you? Go to war."
Is this what the name? Is this how you got the name? You were like, let's call the band.
Bubba Zanetti. It was the character, Bubba Zanetti. We thought he was great. Yeah. Tom Five sang with us for a while. It was fun. It was good.
RS70 asks, is this when before this Missing Foundation, is this when they started that whole thing with the upside down champagne glass?
Well, it started from Drunk Driving, which was Pete's band with Jeff Holiday. And
I remember that.
And I think Chris Egan was in Drunk Driving as well, and he came over to Missing. And it used to be a right side up cocktail glass. Then it flipped over, And Pete used to joke around that every strike through the bottom was another dead guitar player, like another kicked out guitar player.
That graffiti was everywhere back in the day, man.
He was really good at marketing, and anybody that was with him just kind of fell into the self-promotion, fell into the controversy, you know?
Fell into the drama, right?
It was a lot of drama.
Yeah.
It was fun, though. I mean, the thing about Missing Foundation was I was playing guitar and I was doing some really interesting stuff. I was creating these great tones and these weird feedback landscapes, and because we had two drummers, Vince played bass through a big muff, so I had to find a frequency somewhere in there, you know. So I was just working with. I played through a bass amp a lot of the time with a lot of distortion and stuff. And you switched your view. What are we looking at here?
It's me.
That's you. Look at that. That's interesting.
You can handle it.
I can't handle it. I can't handle the truth. But yeah, it was a really fun musical time, as well as like just the politics, you know, about gentrification and stuff like that.
That was going down, man.
We'll talk about the class war played out. You know, we dragged the guts of a grand piano onto the stage at the knitting at the kitchen, and part of the performance was destroying it with pieces of metal.
What was the kitchen? That vaguely, where was that?
It was on the west side. It was on 19th Street. I think it was that flyer with Sakara Dogs and Rick Little.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and I've got the recording somewhere in my cassettes. I don't know where they are. They might be in a storage space, but you can hear ga-bang, ga-gang, ga-gang, the strings and the metal and the wood just being destroyed. And then you can hear firecrackers going off. It was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
I saw that guy Joe Coleman once.
Joe Coleman. Yeah.
Remember him? The guy like with all the lights, all the firecrackers. I saw him at CBGB's, and he just like lit he had like a mat of firecrackers taped to his body, and he made
like these vests, and he would like light them. His paintings are wild.
Yeah,
his paintings are something else. Yeah.
All right, hey, let's take a break. Let me take a sponsor break, and we'll come back in a little bit, and we'll have our friends from Women of the Pit come on, and we'll take it from there. I'll see you in a bit. All right. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and our guest today is RB Korbet from Even Worse, Bush Tetras. Lots to talk about after this word from our sponsors.
Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in a new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. We are looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All Hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to serve all the events as we usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles.
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer.
Video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars! We are New York Hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
What's happening? We're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. I want to talk to you about some upcoming shows coming up this Sunday. John Monty from MOD, Ministry, Mindfunk, Dragpipe, The Spiders, Chemical Waste will be on this show, the show you're watching right now. A week after that, we are super excited and honored to have photographer David Godless on the show. This is going to be a great one. Soon after that, on Wednesday, December 14th, Frank White and Alan Tecchia will be on the show to talk about their book, Jersey Metal, which is a really, really, really good book, man. Like, very, very well done. Wednesday, December 21st, from Bold and Crippled Youth, Matt Warnke will be on. Just announced Sunday, December 25th, is the holiday show. This is Christmas Day. Everybody's going to come marching through, a couple of special guests. We'll open it up, to everybody in the chat room. Listen, let's just have a nice day, Christmas, and we will interact with each other. Just announced this the other day, Sunday, January 1st, first show of 2023, Fury of 5. They have a new release coming out, War, a new single, and we will be talking to Fury of 5. Wednesday, January 4th, there he is in the chat room. His show will be January 4th, Rob Moss from Artificial Peace and Government Issue. Talk about some DC stuff there. This show has yet to be announced formally. I am co-hosting. I enjoyed it last time. We're going to do it again. Joe Ghostin will be co-hosting with me. Paul Rosslier, producer, musician. He was in the Screamers, Twisted Roots. He played with Nina Hagen. Kira's brother from Black Flag. This will be a very cool one. John LaFata, January 15th. And then this is just off the press, Brian Harris from Death Before Dishonor on Sunday, January 22nd. That said, I want to mention that there is a Patreon page. And if you are a Patreon or if you join Patreon, you get the book for free. You get the New York Hardcore Chronicles Volume 1. We're working on Volume 2 now for free. So join Patreon. Funny about this book. This is, for some reason or another, this book is signed to Deborah. Yo, Deborah, keep up the support. Stay hard. I don't know who Deborah is. I don't know why this book is in here. I will say this, though. If your name is Deborah, reach out to me. And we'll get you this book. Any Deborahs out there? Come on. This book is for you, Deborah. So there it is. Listen, if you're not a patron and you want the book is available at www.stonefilmsnyc.com. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Volume 1, 1980 to 1989, a flyer oral history. Lots of cool stuff. www.stonefilmsnyc.com. Also, want to shout out a couple of new patrons. Mio TV, Anthony Mio, original drummer in Biohazard, is a patron. It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs, who I see in the chat room today. Thank you, Courtney. If your name is, in fact, Courtney, not sure. A patron under the name, it's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. What does this mean? Also, Mike Reed, please join Patreon, be a patron, support the show. It's what makes this whole thing work. And if you know Deborah, or if you are Deborah, there you go. What else? There's a super chat function for later on in the show. We're doing questions. Follow me on Instagram at StoneFilmsNYC. Very simple. You know we never talk about? Ha ha ha. Also, if you're watching the show in rerun, there is a button right there. Please subscribe to the show on YouTube so you get alerts and all that good stuff. Also, there is a merch line. If you're watching it rerun, you see it. Perhaps you want the New York Hardcore mug or the shower curtain, or hey, you know what? It just so happens, or they do good things, and good things will come to you, shirt or sweatshirt. They're all available at the merch site. So that said, let's clear the deck. Let's bring everybody okay. Nobody kill each other. Nobody kill themselves yet. Killed each other. Let's bring our guest, RB Korbet, back on, and let's bring our friends from Women of the Pit, Lori, Dawn, and Gina. Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
guys.
Arby. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see
Hello.
you too.
Hi, Lori.
Yes. Hello. Hello.
What's
You
going
have some
on?
good shows coming up, Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of exciting stuff.
A lot
Quality.
of interesting, different characters coming up, you know?
Yeah,
Characters,
it's cool. I like that.
And the 250th show is not that far off either.
Mm.
Wow.
Exciting
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Big
so-
things are happening.
So we'll see. Let's talk about this band here. Who is this and what's going on?
So this is Pleasure Venom. They call themselves an experimental garage punk experience. Something fun.
Experimental garage punk, explosive. Yes.
Yes,
good.
explosive.
Pretty much describes them very, very well. I think it matches well today because I think like Highly Effective People is one of those bands that you can't really put in a box. You know, you gotta
Right.
hear what you're gonna hear, you know, and it's the same
Cool.
with this. If you're into punk, you'll hear punk. If you're into rock, you'll hear some rock. If you like some dance grooves, they've got it. So I really like the feeling of their songs because you can move to them, but they're kind of dark and you know, kind of the tone of the guitars are kind of a little, I guess, atonal, you know. So they've got a
They're
really
cool,
groove
man. I gotta check them out. Look at her. She's getting her life.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, and she is amazing as a front
That's-
woman. She's very artistic, very strong. She also directs their videos, and she just made her acting debut in a little comedy short, which I watched earlier today, which I really liked. So
I gotta check them out.
yeah,
She writes the music for the band too, which I think is pretty cool. Like I
That's very
love
cool.
that about her. And I also like that you can't pigeonhole them. Like everybody's like, oh, are they punk? Are they hardcore? Are they this? Are they that? Like it's music.
it's like yes,
Right
yes,
on,
yes.
right
They
on.
are all of those things.
Like you've
That's
played
right.
in so many bands, Arby, and have done so many different things. Like, you know, like
My
drums,
style
guitar,
at
bass.
this point is just like, you know, it's like all these elements, all these things to make like this kind of fusion. But you know, it's like a melange. Everything that
Yeah.
I've gone through makes the player that I am today, all those influences. And I love hearing that in music that I like, you know.
Exactly.
I put
Wow.
the volume down. We got the message because it'll get flagged.
Yeah.
It'll disrupt the whole. It'll disrupt the whole show. But we
Well,
can try this.
They're wild.
Have been clinging for so long. Always been so headstrong.
Pretty cool.
They're
Yeah,
giving me
they've got a really nice
Joy
sound.
Division there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hot. That's
Yeah.
hot, man. Well, they'll be playing with HEP soon enough. We're trying to put some shows together for next year, so there you go.
You know,
They're
and I
great.
was thinking, listening to the two bands, you guys would be great together. Yeah, yeah,
They're
it would
heavy.
really
I
be.
like that because we're heavy, you know, and I like a heavy band. So there you go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that Severed Ties video is, I
Very
think
cool.
that's their new song, and they have a new album coming out on Friday. So you should all check it out. You know, check them out on IG, Bandcamp, and support.
Good. Hey, are you guys excited? The screening that you're hosting is sold out.
So excited for this.
Yeah.
So excited.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me a little bit too. It sold out so fast, you know.
Well, the speed in which it sold out is what surprised me. Like I'm
3
not
days.
surprised that it sold out, but that it was so fast. Like I went to, like, even for us, like we went to buy tickets and it was like, oh my gosh, there's only like 6 seats left or something.
I know.
Like,
You were panicking.
So that's
we
that.
almost got sold out of our own show.
That's awesome.
Right. And then you guys we're doing this thing on Saturday. We got Brooke Brooks book event is this Saturday, December 3rd at Generation Records. Generation Records and Women of the Pit proudly present Brooks Smith book event. I am moderating the Q&A. It's this Saturday at 5 o'clock, 5 to 7. And then there's an after show at 96 Tiers, which is underneath the old A7. So everybody's welcome. Come on down. This is going to be a cool event.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun day. Going to have some music,
totally.
come down and ask some questions. Yeah,
Yep.
that's going to be cool.
Yeah, like Brooke's a cool one from back in the day. Like I'm really excited for her that she has this book out. I think it's going to be just a fun place to be on Saturday. Yeah.
Right on. Hey, RB, let me ask you, sort of going back to the early 80s, was there a shift in the early 80s as far as, we talked about thrash and then, the hardcore thing. And like, I know the answer to this, but I want to hear your take on it. Like, was there a noticeable shift in sort of like the aggressiveness or sort of like what happened in the hardcore scene in New York?
I can't speak for the whole scene because you can't be everywhere all at once.
Sure.
But for our little scene, our little 171 St. Mark's scene, whatever, there was a watershed moment. I forget who it was. I was playing 171, one local band. I forget who it was playing, and a van load of dudes from, I think it was Boston, came to the Lower East Side just to kick, quote, some New York pussy ass. And they ran through the doors and they just started beating the crap out of everybody on the dance floor. Like we had never, and we're in there going, yay, and these guys just come in and they're just pounding us. And we were like, whoa. And it really was kind of like a watershed moment because dancing at a thrash or a hardcore show at that point became kind of a competition, like a sport. Like it got really, really intense all of a sudden. There was a longer shift with some of the bands, I'd say 83, 84, when Chromax and CFA and AF were sort of coming up. There was a sound, there was a shift. But for me personally, I just wasn't going to as many of those shows because I was starting to play different kinds of music for myself. I never was like, oh, that scene sucks. Or, I still supported the scene. I was like, yeah, you're my friends, Vinny and Harley and everybody and John were all my friends. I was so happy that they were still doing stuff. And I would go to matinees at CB sometimes, but primarily hang around outside, catching up, whatever. And but there was a definite shift. There was a transitional period from the older punks to like the thrash kids, and the older punks were kind of like, what do they know? I forget. I think it was the horn player in Red Transistor, Von Elmo's band, was giving me stick one night. Like, oh, you young kids, what do you know, man? He was making fun of the way I dressed and everything, And I was like, take a seat because wasn't someone doing this to you just a couple of years ago?
Right.
So, come on, So there was that, and then the scene we were doing was very kind of free, because there was also Nasty Facts that had a woman of color playing bass. Cheryl, she was playing bass and singing. There were a lot of women, a lot of people of different color. There was a lot of gender nonconformity. It really didn't matter very much. And I loved that aspect of it. And then eventually it got a little more homogenous with more people from the suburbs coming to the city, I would say. Sure. And they were expecting that same high school energy of like a fucking football match or something. And I'm like, well, this is why I got into punk rock, because I'm not into that stuff. Punk rock could be wild and loud and expressive and political, but it wasn't self-defeating. It wasn't like we were fighting against each other. We were fighting the man, that bullshit out there. And suddenly there was this friction in the scene. And I was like, So I kind of went over to more like the art scene, the art rock scene, all that stuff. I started getting into like Rat at Red R, Sonic Youth, Missing Foundation, Live Skull. It was very experimental. We were at 8BC a lot. And so that's where I was when the matinees were really getting going and AF and those bands were really starting to take off.
Yeah, that makes sense. 1991, a little bit farther down the line, Sloth was heavy.
Heavy, man. We thought we were going to be the next Guns N' Roses. We had the 2 Guitar Attack going on. Those guys already had a rep of being drinker, fighter, songwriter people. They went to Belgium and tore it up. They recorded an album. They came back. I joined the band, and what you see is what you get.
You joined the band on guitar?
Yeah, on guitar. Me and Mike, the two on the left here. Mike with the blonde hair was the other guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And this sums up the vibe of the band. It was just party, drinking, loud, fun. The crowds that we used to get were really fun. A lot of people from the other bands would come and hang out, and it was rowdy. It was rocking. That's one of my flyers on the bottom with Mickey Rat in it.
That's cool.
This punch is definitely improved my dancing. Yeah, it was fun.
And what was the demise of Sloth?
They same old thing. I probably had some reason, something got up my butt, and this isn't for me anymore, and I left the band. Or I was going out with Mike, and I think we kind of broke up, and that always makes it kind of weird in a band. And I was just
because you know what, not everybody can do it like Fleetwood Mac did it, right?
Oh yeah, they did it so well too.
Not everybody can get married to someone in the band and go out with someone in the band and then break up and still be in the band with them.
Hey, if we had been making gold selling albums, we probably could have made it work. Yeah, but it was just one more struggle, man. Just going to work, going to rehearsal, not getting stabbed on Clinton Street. It was just one more thing to.
You're getting divorced? Who cares? No one's leaving the band.
Exactly. Yeah, when you go to sleep on a money bed at night, life just gets kind of easy, I think so.
Yeah. And you were like, you know what? I'm done with Sloth because I'm joining Helvis.
And this was my first Hit by a Truck was like a trio, but this was like a power trio because we were live, loud. We were obnoxious. We were getting a lot of attention too. We were kind of like somewhere between Grin of a Green Day thing, but like a little heavier because there were actual leads. It wasn't just all chunka, whatever. And that picture of me at CB's kind of sums up that vibe.
I like the bands. I love a lot of these bands. You're playing with the Meat Puppets.
Yeah.
You're playing with Hammerbrain in one show. Another show at Brownies. You're playing with Sweet Diesel.
Die Monster Die. They were great. Yeah, we got to play some really, really cool shows. Is the poster for Webster Hall with
on the
Supreme
bottom
Dicks?
With that.
Yeah. That
what
was
year
a fun
was this?
Time. This is 93 to 94.
Okay.
And these again are all my flyers, and I really liked working with those guys. Me and Joe wrote together very well. We were in Chop Shop together earlier on, the first band I played guitar in, and it was fun. We were a really good collab. I really enjoyed working with those guys a lot.
Was Chris Raymond in Sloth? He was from my neighborhood in Queens.
Absolutely. Chooch Raymond, drummer.
Hey, y'all, what was the name of the band with the girl singer you were just showing? Sounded killer.
Oh, they're called Pleasure Venom. They're from Austin, Texas.
Pleasure Venom.
Pleasure Venom. Yeah.
Evocative.
Yes, very.
Need the little thinking emo.
It's like,
that's good. That guy. Yeah, no, they were great. I really liked them a lot.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah, I got to hook up with them.
Very, very, very cool.
You're welcome.
Yeah. As we're touring here, this is Wharton Tears.
Wharton Tears Ensemble. Wharton recorded the Helvis album that never came out. He still has the 2-inch tape somewhere, I'm pretty sure, unless he got rid of it. And I toured with them, and this was 4 guitars, 2 bass players, 1 saxophone, 1 drummer. So that was a lot of fun. And that's my Les Paul Artisan. You had to be kind of loud to be heard in that band. He didn't like the sound of that guitar. He liked the SG better. And that's us on the roof at Atavistic Records in Chicago on the right. And this picture on the lower left, Sweet 75 was Chris Novoselic's band after Nirvana. And they weren't great. Maybe that's just my opinion. I didn't think they were very good. But at the time, it was like, oh, Sweet 75. So that's me outside their dressing room going, because that's how I make friends and influence people.
There you go.
It's constantly taking the piss. My recipe for success.
RB, I love the bass sound that you have on this, recent project. What do you play on?
Thanks. I play a Fender Squier Jazz. It's a 96 Indonesian, that one. Oh, that's the Korean, 96 Korean.
Is that Highly Effective People?
Yeah, that's Highly Effective People. And I play A couple of those songs are through a Rat, which is a guitar distortion, and a couple of them are through an Angry Charlie, which is also a distortion pedal.
An Angry Charlie.
Angry Charlie, man, that thing's a squealer.
I like that.
That's a loud pedal, but it's got tone control. It's got more tone control than a Rat does, so I really like it. It's highly effective for the bass.
So is bass your favorite? Is that your
with that pedal?
No, just bass in general, because I know you're a drummer, you're guitars, you sing.
After bouncing around for a long time, I realized that a lot of what I was trying to do on guitar is play bass lines the way I play them now. You know, I play like riffs and hooks, and that's kind of what I always liked doing on guitar. And sometimes it was like, well, it worked in 2 guitar bands, and it worked in the 1 guitar bands too. But then when I started playing bass, it just was like, wow, this feels really right. The weight of the instrument feels right to me. The neck feels right to me. I like the responsibility of really locking in with the drummer. Highly effective pedal. I like having that responsibility of kind of anchoring everything and making it very powerful with the drummer. Yeah, that's
Tell us about the show you have coming up.
Parkside this Friday night. We're playing at 11. Secret Fox debut. They're a band that features members of Monster Magnet and the Thugs, and Soraya is in the band. Her name, I'm sorry, I forget the singer's name from Soraya, is in the band. And that's Idolizers is Mikey D. Thrill Sergeant, if you know him. He's in a ton of New York bands. And we're doing one of Kit Bellbaum's nights.
Oh yeah, we love Kit. Kit used to do occasionally do the sound at our A7 matinees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kip's sweet. His heart's in the right place. He just wants to music, and that's where it's at for me. You know, I just want to play and share that love and share that joy, and I get so enthusiastic in my bands about the journey and evolving and doing more and taking it to the next level. You know, it comes off like really kind of hyper aggressive, really manic sometimes, but it's just because I'm really excited and I just want to bring the people I'm working with on that journey. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's, you know, there I am with the Carvels.
At the Bowery Electric.
Yeah.
Oh, that little sign.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should get like an endorse. There's so many pictures of me.
Yeah, right.
with that in so many different bands. But yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, and highly effective also. We're a trio, but Vern plays guitar with 2 amps. So we do that stereo amp thing and it cuts on and cuts out. And it's an experience. It's a big sound for 3 people.
Yeah.
Once you guys can come, it's going to be fun.
What's this one here where it looks like you're just singing?
That was the Stiv Baders tribute night. And I was doing
and where was it? Was it at the Bowery Electric?
Bowery Electric, and I'm doing Ready to Snap. I'm ready to snap. That was one of the New Church songs. I think it was Lords of the New Church. So, oh no, we're Stiv Baders solo. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's on. I think it's on Disconnected. Yeah.
It was a fun song to play. I'm ready to snap. Yeah, it's a fun song. I really enjoyed that. That's a Johan Vipper photograph, I think.
That's a great shot. Yeah.
He's a great photographer, and that's Matt Basile on bass, and Jesse's guitar player, whose name is he's a sweetheart. I love him, and I can't remember his name. This is a lot, man. This is a big download. It's like I've only forgotten I see him all the time, and I've forgotten one name all this time.
Yeah,
You'll remember.
Jesse Mounds, guitar player, who's his partner in all this.
He's great. He's the nicest guy.
Oh, it's right there.
It starts with a D. I know, it's right there. It's right there. And his wife is awesome too. And but yeah.
Let me look it up.
We bonded.
Not Randy. Randy's the drummer.
Randy's the drummer who was in Scissor Sisters. Yeah. We bonded, and it's not Derek. Derek and I bonded when I was living in England. Yeah. Derek, because Jesse was playing Brighton, and I hadn't seen him in like probably 2 decades. And I dropped into the show at Brighton, and Derek and I bonded because he's really into his vintage gear.
Right.
And so that's what we were talking about, just that nerd stuff. No, he's awesome.
Yeah. Laura used to live in England.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I was in England for 5 years in Bath.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice college town.
Yeah. Actually, I worked at the university.
I know Bath. It's got that beautiful Regent circle, the crescent, and everything. Yeah, I used to go there. I lived in London and I lived in Brighton.
Yeah, you moved. Nice. You moved out of New York. You were out of New York for a bunch of years. You left around 1998. You were gone for like 10 years, right?
Longer. I'm 17. Let's see. I went to California in February of '98. Berkeley, San Francisco, LA. Then I came back to the East Coast, Boston, Cambridge. Cheers, man. That's a nice compliment. And I love your Venom
Jump fart.
icon. Yeah. And then, so I came back to the East Coast because that California energy really wasn't for me. And then I went to England in 2003. Got hitched, got unhitched, went to university, got my BA, MA, PhD. Trump got elected, and I said, this would be a great time to go back to America. No, that's not really how it started. It was after Brexit, and I was like, But basically, I came back because I missed New York, and I had some things to take care of here, and I finished my thesis.
I remember you came back. I interviewed you for the New York Hardcore Chronicles film.
Yeah.
You were in my neighborhood here. You were at you stayed at the Luzerne.
The Luzerne.
But I interviewed you for the New York Hardcore Chronicles film. That's going back, but you were just visiting then, right?
Just visiting, and that was shortly after I'd slipped and broken a tooth. And I remember I had to go to the NHS, and they gave me this fake tooth, and it looked like a piece of cardboard. I'm like, yay, NHS, thank you so much.
Yes, the NHS.
I had this NHS tooth for that interview.
What's NHS? What is that?
The National Health Service, the socialized medicine there.
It's like, it's like basically, it's like Civil War. It's like, you hurt your arm.
It's like that scene in Gone with the Wind. It's like, no, it's not like that. But I mean, here's the beautiful thing about the NHS. It's free at the point of service. When you're hurt, it's an emergency. You need help. They're there, and they're awesome. Yes. The NHS is great.
It's like, you stubbed your toe. Let's amputate it.
Well, I mean, there's problems because the system is really overwhelmed. There's a lot of people trying to get in on that. So there's only, it's a finite thing.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
We spent one night in the emergency room, and it was like being on the set of a World War II.
It's triage. That's what I say, because NHS is great for triage. And I mean, the reason
they got it done,
they get it done, and they're good. They're doing it because they care. They're not making money. They actually care about people. They're not getting rich working for the NHS,
Exactly.
And then that's the reason,
fancy, but
well, that's the reason I started studying history and politics, British politics in particular, because the NHS started when Britain was completely broke after World War II, and they did it. And it was the first Labour government, and they did it. They got the NHS going. They got the national welfare going when they had no money, because they had long-range vision. They cared about their people. They cared about the community. It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
So that's, God bless the NHS, man.
Yep.
I'm all about it.
From MASH.
Like a scene from MASH. It was. I think about that scenes from MASH, or like that scene in Gone with the Wind when they've just got like the bodies upon bodies and people are getting their legs sawed off and stuff.
Or like in every other
Band-Aid on you, and
or like in any Civil War movie.
Bleeding doesn't matter, but it's effective, nothing fancy, but they get it done.
This gets it done,
Or in any Civil War movie you see where they have that shot of like the pile of arms that they've amputated. Like any Civil War movie,
So you don't look behind a curtain in an NHS hospital. That's what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Lori, Gina, thank you.
Thanks,
I'll see you on Saturday. We're excited. We have Brooke's event at our beloved Generation Records.
Yes.
And it's gonna be a really fun day. And then a couple days later, we'll be out at Williamsburg at the Nighthawk Cinema.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. And RB, I hope to see Hep soon.
Yay!
Play up in the Boston area. I'm on Cape Cod right now.
I would love to. I love Boston. My second home is Massachusetts.
Awesome.
I've got 200 second homes, but no, Boston's definitely on the list.
Thank you, Gina.
Great. Very cool. Thanks so much for having us. Nice hanging with you, RB.
I'll see you guys soon. Okay. There you have it. Women of the Pit.
On our own.
Yeah, we're on our own. We're sort of going into modern times.
Amazing.
And
we finally hit the 20th century.
Yeah, now that you're back. When you came back to New York from England in 2017, did you right away were you like, I got to get out playing music again? How did that shake out?
I was desperate for a job. I needed work really bad, and I'd been hanging out with Jesse, and Jesse was opening Coney Island Baby. He said, "Hey, we need a doorman."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, gave me the gig, and I worked the door at Coney Island Baby for over a year. And God bless, that's how I came into contact with all the beautiful and amazing musicians that I hang out with regularly now. That was the door back into music. And that's where I really found my heart. That's where I really realized this is what I was meant to do. I've tried a lot of things over the years. I've tried academia. I've done writing. I've tried writing novels and screenplays and yada, yada, yada. This is where I belong. And the Carvels were so fun, and we're a little bit on hiatus right now because things are going on. But during quarantine, they saved my life because we rehearsed no matter what. We had our little COVID cluster going. We'd get in the car. We'd go rehearse in autos regularly, weekly.
Ooh.
It kept us sane. It kept us together. We wrote material. Lynn has been like a sister to me. God bless her. And you can see from these pictures how much fun I am having. I am just
Well, I see you there in Tompkins. I see you there in Tompkins.
Tompkins.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm jumping up. I'm off the ground in that first one. That was Halloween 2020, I think. We were dressed up as zombie postmen. That was our Halloween costume.
Is that a Fender Mustang bass? What is that?
No, that's the Squire. That's the jazz that I play
Squire.
most of the time. It's
right.
the same one again at Bowery Electric. That was
right.
That was the Halloween before we played with the Dickies, when I have those horns on my head.
Got it.
And Vern took that picture. I'm not sure who took the Tompkins Square photos, but they're good. I like them. And that picture of me and Lynn wearing the Candy Cigarettes t-shirt. They're a really good Philly band. Candy Cigarettes.
Silk Cut.
Yay, me and John. This was another COVID project that kept me sane, kept me alive. Just me and him. I did all the music, recorded all the instruments, did all the production, all the mixing, and he provided the muse with his words. He would just send me some words on a sheet of paper while we were barely seeing each other because of quarantine. So he'd email me some stuff or he'd text me some stuff. And when I see lyrics, I kind of see shapes and I like hear things. And that was really handy during writing the Bush Tetras stuff that we just recorded too, because Cynthia would just have words on a page and I'd see it and I'd go, I'm hearing things. And that's where it came from. It was loosed by this project with John.
Did
and
you
know him? He's really prolific, so he's always writing wild and crazy stuff. And he's
looks like, what does he got there? A ukulele?
A ukulele, yeah.
He
does the ukulele. He does the uke, sonic uke. Well, that was Ted and Dave Ratcage, sonic uke. They used to do that. Yeah. But yeah, this is that album on the top right supposed to look like a Blue Note jazz cover. I think I did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's not pretty much looks that way. Yeah,
Blue Note jazz style.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cool.
we had a really fun time doing that, and hopefully we'll get to do it again soon.
Right on. Boy, we're burning through all the stuff that you sent me,
I'm telling you, man, I feel like I'm running on a treadmill. Like, here's your life. It's
so
great, it's been really self-affirming, I got to tell you.
I was pleasantly happy for you when you told me you joined the Bush Tetras. Because they're a band that's been around a long time in New York, and they have a certain cachet. How did this come about?
That man in that picture on the left, G Pop, I have him to thank. He was a very good friend of mine. We became fast, close friends. He used to come up to me when I was working the door at Coney, and we would just talk, blah, blah, blah. And we felt like we'd known each other forever. I mean, it was so comfortable. And just the overlaps in our lives, we know so many of the same people, and we felt the same way about so many things. And he was more than a drummer. He was a poet. He wrote lyrics. He had a really 360-degree view of music and the world. And he was a beautiful soul, and he had his troubles like anyone. And he asked me to join the band. I auditioned. I think there was one other person. And he was like, you got this, right? And I'm like, But then, they offered me the spot, and it's been beautiful the way I gelled with those guys. That was another thing during COVID. Pat and Cynthia and I working together, bonding. We had to get through the loss of Dee together, and he was their friend for 40 years. They're more than friends; they're family. They're like blood.
He was a big part of that band.
Huge. He was a writer. He wasn't just I'm back here tippity tippity. He had he wrote songs. He had ideas, and he had a great vision. And it's a great loss. And, you think you're over the loss of somebody. And then there's days where I think about him and I'm getting emotional now. I really miss him. He was a huge part of my life for a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. it must be nice to join a band that kind of plays is at a certain level, and you can play some. It must be nice to play some big stages, right?
It's nice to merge with people that are like-minded about music and things, and it's nice that I and touch wood, I love booking for my bands and stuff like that, but this feels easy.
Yeah.
All I have to think about is the music. I don't have to do any of the, oh, we're going to book here. We got to get us, it's like we got people that do that. I mean, they're involved. Cynthia's very involved in, what happens, what we book, what we don't book. But it's nice to have some wind beneath your wings, management, a label, booking agent, to actually do that stuff for you. Because, it's business administration-y stuff. And, that's what I do for a day job. I don't want to do it in music, too.
Is there a place like, I know you've been in the band a little bit, but like once you join the Bush Tetras, is there like a market, a place where it's just like, wow, like is there like a place that they go to play that they're like, wow, we're huge in Columbus, Ohio?
Well, yeah, they've got that kind of guided by voices thing where it's like their fans are rabid fans. And when we went to the West Coast earlier this year, in September, we sold out Zebulon, LA. I mean, and the audiences are just so lovely. Cool. They're so beautiful. They're so responsive. They respond to the new material as much as the old stuff. They're just keen, they're just really into it. No, it's great. It's not one of these bands like, you use this kind of indifferent people in the audience, it's like, no, everybody's there because they want to hear the band and they are into it. They are digging it. And I love that energy. That's what I feed off of on stage. That's what I live for.
Good. Hey, let me take my last sponsor break, and it'll be a pretty quick one, and we'll come back. We'll take some questions from around the world, okay?
Woo!
That's right. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is R.B. Korbet from Bush Tetras, Highly Effective People, Even Worse, and many, many more. We, as in this show, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, DTFM Vinyl Distro, and the Texas Silver Rush. The Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. The client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rolle, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Come on now, Mike Tittle and Grunge and Grime Soap Company. They're a handmade soap and skincare company with a rock and roll spirit. Based in Nashville, Tennessee, they combine their love for rock music and their love for creating products that are good for your skin and good for your soul. Since 2019, they've been creating high-quality, natural, handmade soaps and skincare products with ethically sourced and sustainable ingredients. They give 10% of their net proceeds to local and community outreach programs. Visit the website at www.grungeandgrime.com and enter the code DREW to get 20% off your first order. That said, you know what we didn't? Oh yeah, let's get down with this. Coming up Wednesday the 7th. This is sold out. If you don't have a ticket, well, what can I tell you? Saturday, December 10th, New York Hardcore Comics. Boom. Hosting a show up at the Sawmill Tavern in lovely, picturesque Ardsley, New York, with Polyabuse, Damn Your Eyes, Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. Fire is Murder, Leeway, and headlining Leeway NYC. That is a week from this Saturday. It's free. If it's free, it's for me. Come on up. It's going to be a fun night. Opening party December 17th for the hardcore punk exhibit, art exhibit, all kinds of cool stuff at the Senna Tattoo in Soho, New York. GBT presents Hardcore Punk exhibit. That is the night before the Holiday Slamboree. That's right. All ages, free, 7 bands, 2 stages, down at where else? The Bowery Electric. Faded Line, Serial Poets, featuring Stephen Messina, Concrete Ties, Voice of Doom, Daija, Spoiler NYC, Sworn Enemy. There we go. Coming up. And then, hey, just got to throw this in the mix. ID, we're playing with Gogo Bordello at Brooklyn Bowl on Thursday, December 29th. Tickets are on sale now. We're not playing a lot of shows. We're trying to get this record done, but we couldn't turn this one down. We had to play with our man Eugene and with Gogo Bordello. Looks fucking cool. Sunday, February 12th, another Back to the New York Hardcore Roots Series show at the Barry Electric, free with Indiavid, End of Hope with Davey Gunner, formerly of Kraut, Incendiary Device. Once again, it's going to jump off tonight. Kings Never Die, and this one took a while to make happen. Shutdown. That's right. Shutdown's headlining. Free show at the Bowery Electric. So come on down. Bring the wife. Bring that booger-eating kid. Let's get down. Free Sunday matinee on the Bowery. Once again, there is a Patreon page. There's also a PayPal page. Holidays are coming up. Please support this show. This show supports you. What else? I think we covered a lot. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Questions? Any questions you have for our guest? RB Korbet? Maybe anything old school New York hardcore? Post up your questions now. Let's do this. Let's go with the questions. Hey, and just as you're doing that, I just want to give Lenny from Crazy Eddie props. Yes, I was wrong. I admit that I was wrong. I did see Ozzy play at the US Festival in 1982. I did not think it was Jakey Lee, but apparently that was Jakey Lee playing guitar with Ozzy when I saw him at the US Festival. So I stand corrected. There you go. Let's bring our guest back on.
Hey.
Korbet. Hey.
Slamboree. I can't stop saying Slamboree now. Slamboree. End of Hope, man. They're great. I'm going to come out for End of Hope. They're great.
That's the Shutdown show. Yeah. Davey.
Davey's my pal.
RS70 asks, was she at the Tompkins riot?
Good question. Where was I that night in 1989? It was 89, wasn't it?
I believe.
In 89, yeah. I was in Brooklyn. I was living in Fort Greene, and I was probably doing something else. I was probably working on Bubba Zanetti stuff. I think I was in Bubba Zanetti at the time. I was not at that particular riot. But I wasn't there getting, batoned. But tons of my friends were there. Mark Renser from Lech Patrol. I mean, a bazillion of my friends were there. And I actually based a treatment for a screenplay on not all of the Tompkins Square riot, but as part of it's in there. It forms like the pinnacle of some of the events transpiring as the Tompkins Square riot. Yeah, that was. It ends in Prana. You were there. You were there. Weren't you there?
No, we avoided it. Antidote was rehearsing. We went after in the aftermath. We went down hours after the incident and to go get an egg cream from Ray's, But we just sort of didn't feel like we needed to be involved in that.
Right. I mean, if I was still living on 11th Street, I probably would have just wound up there because we were there all the time anyway. But yeah,
I think part of it was, in retrospect, is that the park was a disgusting cesspool of drugs and junkies at that point, and we really didn't feel connected to rioting over their right to shoot dope in the park.
That's probably why I didn't feel like getting on a train.
Yeah,
I was probably I haven't hung out in the park in a while. It's just not savory.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's just not my scene. But at the same time, I don't approve of any of the tactics. I don't approve of what was going on. That's not, I'm not victim blaming, and I'm not Stockholm syndrome, none of that. No, it was fucking bullshit. I just hadn't been to the park in a while.
Yeah, here's a shot from that sort of era,
Yeah.
Oh, there's dude with the Missing Foundation shirt.
Is that Chris? Now, who is that? I don't know who that is with the blonde hair.
Yeah, he's right in the mix there, man.
Dang. That looks like someone I know. It looks like Josie Peters, but it's not Josie Peters. From Crave. It's not him though.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, there's the Tompkins thing. That's not something I wasn't ready to go to war over. That park was disgusting. It was disgusting and dangerous before the riots. It was like, you know what? I didn't want anything to do with it. You know.
Yeah.
Michael Sincata says Alice, I think.
Alice took the Carvel's pick in time. Yes, I think she did. And I was going to share with Drew some of the stills from the shitty tree shots that she did. Carvel's did a video, and we had Chet from Wrestlers and Alice Donut dress up in this fucked up Christmas tree costume. And we were walking around the Lower East Side, and we were like, oh, we love you, shitty tree. And Alice took some really funny photos of that, and I should have sent you one of those. They're pretty funny.
What's happening here?
What's happening? This is recent stuff. Okay, bottom left, 2003, Cambridge, Massachusetts. I was in a band called Verona Downs. The guy behind me is the drummer. We did not get along. The girl in front is my friend Robin, who's awesome. On the right, that's me playing one of the Gates of the West things that Jesse invited me to, the Stone Pony.
Oh yeah, we did.
We
did those, one or two of those together, right?
We did the Bowery Ballroom one. This was Stone Pony, which was like, wow, I've never been to the Stone Pony, and it was really fucking cool.
Hey, Bruce Springsteen.
And Megadeth of all things. Because I was in there, and I'm going around looking at the pictures, and it's like, yeah, Bruce and Steven Van Zandt. And then I'm like, Megadeth? All right.
Megadeth played the Stone Pony.
There was a picture of Dave Mustaine, like, you know, whatever. Okay. And in the middle, that's Highly Effective People. Alex Baker, me, Vern Woodhead.
Oh, nice.
That's us on stage at Littlefield. We're in Michael Jung's backyard there. He produced, and he's also Alice Donut, and he plays in Mustafana. The top, that was my, you know, second time I got COVID was doing that Bertolt Brecht thing. It was the same day there was the hardcore matinee on both floors at Bowery Ballroom.
You should have come and spread it a little bit.
I should have, man. No, because I came to that show, and
why not? Everybody else does.
A bunch of people got sick that were at that thing. So that was another thing I did. I did the whole score for this Bertolt Brecht. It was during his communist phase, 1930-31, The Measures Taken, and it was a lot of fun to do. We had a little sing-along with the audience, true propaganda bullshit. And that's me playing with Highly Effective at Frost Gallery.
Is that right? Custom 3 pickup guitar?
Well, yeah. Hang on a second. The bass, you mean? Oh, yeah. No, that. Yeah, that. Oh, that's behind me. Yeah, that's a Black Beauty. It's a Black Beauty, but it's Epiphone. It's not an actual Les Paul. It's a custom, but it's Epiphone. I couldn't afford a real Black Beauty at that point, so I got the Epi when I still lived in London.
Got it.
That was a birthday present to myself for finishing my master's degree.
Is this fair to ask? What does RB stand for? Ooh.
The deep burning questions. Rebecca Bronwyn, which is Welsh. And that's what it stands for. But sometimes I say it stands for a lot of other things. Roast beef.
Roast beef or yeah.
Rotten bastard.
Yeah, there you go. What didn't Even Worse get back together and play one of those last CBGB shows?
We did. We did the New York Thrash reunion in 2002, 2 nights. And there's a whole...
Who was that? You guys? Kraut?
Oh my God, there was some controversy because it was everybody but the Fiends, and a couple of them turned up and they were like, why the fuck weren't the Fiends invited? Because there was this whole political thing about, they didn't belong on the cassette in the first place. Nancy Hall, John Hall's sister, was in the Fiends, and they should have been invited. I'm sorry, I think that was rubbish that they weren't invited to play. I don't know what that was all about. But yeah, it was basically everybody on the New York Thrash cassette except the Fiends, who came and showed protest, and more power to you, man. So there's a whole video of that second night on Vimeo that Uptown Al took.
You want to hear something funny? Funny you should bring that up.
Always.
Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Wait, it was yesterday, right? We went out and was it yesterday? Oh no, it was Monday. We went out, me and my gal, and we went up to the old neighborhood to 231st Street in the Bronx, right? Mm-hmm. And we were going to Woodlawn Cemetery, where Miles Davis is buried, and Lionel Hampton, and we like to go to ornate cemeteries and check stuff out. It's something that I do with my gal. We go to cemeteries.
Well,
right?
you guys would have loved England, man, because they got some old cemeteries. We're talking 1100s.
Woodlawn Cemetery is like famous. It's like
yeah,
J.C. Line. It's a beautiful. It's almost like a what do you call it? Like a national,
like a nature reserve.
Yeah, it is. It is.
With tombs. Yeah, it is. It's like a nature reserve with tombs.
Yeah. And I shot. I did some filming there a long time ago, and it's something that on Mondays is sort of our day to venture out and do stuff. So we're going through my old neighborhood in the Kingsbridge section of the Bronx, and we see like an old diner, and we're like, hey, let's go out. Let's go. It was funky. I was like, let's go there, right? So we get out.
Right under the tracks, that big diner.
Right under the L on 231st Street. When I was growing up, it was like an old, real, diner. It's changed hands a couple times. So we go and eat, and we come out. We walk into the car, and right in front of us, Uptown Al. And both me and Rochelle were just like at the same time looked at each other and went, Uptown Al. And Uptown Al was so happy to see us. He was like, he hugged me 3 times.
Aww.
He was yeah. So yes, cemeteries or sculpture. Yes, there's
Laura. Like I said, I used to go to in England. I would go to Nunhead Cemetery. I lived right around the corner from Highgate Cemetery. I was there all the time. So yeah,
right.
Great stuff.
What's this? I heard them first on Mystic Records. Is that?
Yeah, they You Can't Argue with Success compilation. Somehow they got their hands, probably Jack, got their hands on, I think it was Emptying the Madhouse and We Suck. 2 songs came out on this, You Can't Argue with Success, and there was a picture of like a homeless dude on the cover. The funny thing is we had a sequel called Life Sucks, which is what we closed the 2002 show with. So it's kind of like this, it goes from being like this internal process we suck to like meta, like, no, life sucks. Just,
we
throw in the towel.
We Suck is an absolute classic at this point,
Well, I can't take responsibility for that. That was, I think, Johnny Potatoes. I think Johnny Paredes did that originally, and then I just kind of adapted it. It's a lot of
Spike Polite weighs in. Mystic Records, she steals publishing. Spike Polite and Sewage. Listen, when Spike Polite speaks, we listen, man. We love Spike Polite.
It's because I'm telling you, man. I don't know. We don't know how that track got on there, so I'm buying what he's selling. I am.
Yeah.
I think they probably just repurposed it. Yeah, there's something
Spike Polite's
to that.
got his finger on the pulse, man. Oh, she signed us. He says, "Well, there you go." Spike
Good for
Polite.
you. We didn't see any papers that just came out one day.
Hey, we're on this comp.
Hey, I mean, be thankful. That's a bad problem to have. Your music just mystically coming out somewhere. That's really not something to complain about.
Our friend Vault in London, is Highgate Cemetery in London? Is that?
Yeah, it's in North London. It's in Highgate.
Okay.
I used to live around across the street from Waterloo Park, and I lived in Highgate Village for years. And Highgate Cemetery has 2 sides. There's the side that has the giant tombs that look like Egyptian monuments, and then there's the low rent side, because it used to be free. Now you got to pay for both sides. The low rent side, of course, has Karl Marx, but it has Douglas Adams.
Karl Marx is buried in London?
Yeah. His connection to London is massive. He lived in London forever. There was a pub called the Clock Tower, which had the Karl Marx reading room, which is where him and some of his buddies used to get together and, discuss economics and, human systems and whatever. They were, I used to go there all the time, Highgate Cemetery. Malcolm McLaren is buried there. When I lived there when he died, and there was a big parade, ended up in Highgate Cemetery.
Talk about a guy that was both loved and hated.
Polarizing figure.
Like
Muammar Gaddafi. He's polarizing.
John, he's right. He's not far from him. Okay.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I lived in Highgate Village forever. I lived on the Grove. I lived on Hornsey Lane for a while.
Right,
I was a real fixture.
Paulie Pork Chops. I miss diners. Well, listen.
I love diners.
Me too. I like. Diners are expensive now too, man.
$15, $17 for a club sandwich.
We went on one of our excursions, we were like, hey, I remember, back in the Bronx, we went to a diner and we both had like corned beef hash and 2 eggs over easy. And like with the tip, the whole thing was like $55. It's like, what?
I mean, it takes my breath away, man. We used to scrape together quarters to get $1.75 fried egg breakfast at Leshko.
Yeah.
I think it was even cheaper at Stan's. It was like $1.50 for 2 eggs, potatoes, toast, and a cup of coffee.
Leshko's, man. Yeah.
I lived there.
Yeah.
I got a good Leshko story, man.
Yeah.
A bunch of us were in there one morning, just being obnoxious, eating and throwing toast back and forth across the tables, being really obnoxious. And, they had these really gruff cooks behind the counters. This guy walks over in his whites and he leans over and he says, you kids, you need to quiet down. And he had a fucking number tattooed on the inside of his arm. This guy was a survivor of the Holocaust. Yeah. And we were just like, much respect, man. And we never
we're done.
Like assholes in there again.
Yeah, we're done being little punk rock.
This guy has seen shit. He does not need our crap. And we just rolled it down. We never acted like jerks in there again.
I remember, you play A7 until, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you sort of just, go wander off to always go to Ray's. Did you see the whole thing about Ray's?
It's his birthday or something. It's like 90
Ray's. They just had a big thing. Let me see about his. They did like a big GoFundMe thing.
Oh, good. I love him. I love you, Ray. Always.
I love you, brother.
I'd say it to my cat. I love you, like Ray, all the time. He doesn't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing a tribute to Ray when I do that.
Here you go.
Let's see.
I got a lot of pictures of fucking. I got a lot of pictures of.
You got a lot of pictures.
Oh no, of Ray.
Oh.
Here's a shot. Here's a good one that I took. Actually, here he is in all his glory. There he is.
Oh, look at him, man.
Right. Yep.
Go. It's funny because like when I'm down there now, I go in there just to get something.
Yeah.
And I'll get like a hot chocolate or something, and the lady behind the counter gets like a little sad little packet of Swiss Miss, and she puts it in a cup and pours some water in. And $3. I'm like, I'm just happy to give you some money. It's not about the quality or anything. It's like, I'm just happy to support. Absolutely.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, that's Ray. Spike would know that's right.
Right.
But yeah,
that's going to be a New Orleans style procession when we that's going to be huge.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking because he's the last of the Mohicans. He's the last man standing from our teenage years. Like everything else is gone. There's nothing down there. Ray is the last vestige of that era, and he's fucking 92 years old or something. That's gonna be rough, man. That's gonna be
a tough one because we were always mourning little pieces of our youth disappearing here and there. But he's like a real cornerstone, and everybody's got experiences and stories and memories of meeting at Ray's, and that's gonna be a big one.
I got a Ray memory, and that's that in those days, in the early 80s, and all throughout the 80s and 90s and forever. Remember, he used to have, comic books and magazines and on the wall there. He never had or carried pornography. He never had Playboy, Penthouse, none of that. And,
wow.
He said, and I remember him saying, he won't sell it. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it in his store. That's not what he's about. He never carried anything remotely pornographic.
Even though he might have been able to make money from it, he was like, no, I got kids coming in here buying egg rings and stuff. That stuff doesn't belong here.
Ray was a man of principle.
A man of principle. I love that. That's a cool fucking story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. I love that guy. Well, thank you for coming on the show, RB. It was
Namaste.
It was nice. And if anybody out there wants to connect with RB, on Instagram, it's at @RB_Korbet. And Lord knows she's got a lot going on musically. So
I do. So highly effective this Friday at Parkside. Bush Tetras with Zopa on the 10th at TVI, a benefit for Planned Parenthood. I think it's sold out, but make a donation, go online, make a donation to Planned Parenthood, or just come and hang around outside and, we'll kick it.
I want to
Thank you,
come.
Chris.
I want to come see Bush Tetras with you playing. I saw the Bush Tetras like 30 years ago. So I want to come see Bush Tetras with you playing.
Well, I would like to see you there. It's all singing, all bass slinging.
Yeah,
it's a good
All
time.
right.
I love working with them.
I'll
Cheers.
talk to you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there you go. Another one in the books. Big thanks to our old friend, RB Korbet, for coming on the show today. Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. Yes. Thank you, John. Thank you, Gary. Lori Dawn, thank you. Yes, Chris, it was a great show, and that was nice. Coming up on Sunday is John Monty. A week after that is David Godless. So we got a lot of great shows coming up. And Adriano, thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all. Gertie. Yeah. Good. Thank you for supporting the show, everybody. Means a lot, and just I love doing the show. I've said it many times. It wasn't part of the plan, but I'm really thankful that we met each other here. So that said, I'll see you on Sunday. Hopefully, I'll see you Saturday down at Generation Records for Brooke Smith's book event. Hopefully, I'll see you for that. If not, hey, thanks, Robert. And happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday, my man. So if I don't see you Sunday down at Generation Records for Brooks' event, then I'll see you here on Sunday with John Monty. So until then, that's right. Do good things and good things will come to you.